You've always imagined that there will come a moment in your life when you'll overcome the fear of rejection and become a bold person. But the days pass, the months pass, and the years pass, and you remain in the same place, without any progress, without any advancement, still the same coward you were 3 years ago. This happens for 2 reasons. The first is that you have a simp mentality, meaning you're putting women on a pedestal, giving them a much higher value than your own. The other reason is that your brain is biologically programmed to make you feel that fear of rejection. That's why today I'm going to give you a series of hacks to change your mindset and reprogram your brain. Get ready, because today marks the first day of your new life. Rejection by unknown women. When you're afraid of being rejected by someone you don't know, it's because you're simping. You're giving more importance to their reality than your own. Let me explain this in detail. An unknown person doesn't know you. They create a first impression, an image of you based on their own reality, their circumstances, and their beliefs. They don't know that you're a man who strives to improve himself every day. They don't know everything you've had to go through to be where you are today. They don't know if you're kind or if you're a bad person. When they reject you, they're rejecting an imaginary person they've created themselves, a self-image that has nothing to do with you. It's not related to your life. You're not that person. They're not rejecting you. They're rejecting a circumstance in which a man approached them to talk, and for reasons you can't control, they rejected you. That's all it is. It's like walking down the street one night, and a drunk person appears and insults you. It's something that has nothing to do with you. It's their own reality, their own problems. It shouldn't affect you in the slightest. If it does, you're giving them power. You're giving them the right to offend you. You're giving them the right to make you think it's personal, but it's not. Your reality and who you are defined by you. No one else can do that. Don't let the thoughts of someone who doesn't even know you, who hasn't even talked to you for 5 minutes, affect you. If you like a known girl, and in the case of a girl you've known for a while, but you're afraid to take the next step because you're worried your relationship might break, that you might stop being friends, I have to tell you that you're a level 100 simp, and you don't realize that you're in the friend zone. That means she doesn't see you as a man. She sees you as a brother, or even worse, as a friend. When people talk about you, they use adjectives like adorable, sensitive, or that you're the brother they never had. And the reality is that this is much worse than rejection. You're giving up your masculinity. You're letting them see you as a harmless man. And that's despicable. If you really want something with that girl, you have to take the plunge. And if she rejects you and your friendship breaks, it's the best thing that could happen. Because you'd spend years being her friend and watching her go with other men who actually interest her, while you'd be following her blindly, basically because you have no other options. You are totally enough. What you need to realize is that you've been sold this false narrative that you have to find your better half, but you don't realize that you're already complete on your own. What you need to do is focus on yourself and achieve your own goals. And if you feel like getting to know a woman, you'll get to know her. And if she rejects you because it turns out there are more women in this world and more things to do. So, wake up, leave behind your nonsense, break those chains, and be the man you're meant to be. Follow your path. Don't let a woman's reaction determine your happiness or sadness, because tomorrow when bad things happen and you find yourself alone, the only thing that will remain is what you've built, how you've forged yourself as a man. So, talk to whomever you want, and if they don't want to be part of your reality, it's their problem. But don't let yourself be dragged into theirs and allow them to mold you into a harmless simp. Abundance rule. To help you understand the next lesson, I want to give you an important example. I want you to imagine a situation where 2 men go to a casino. Both enter, sit at the same table, and bet $10,000. For one of them, whom we'll call Man A, those $10,000 are 70% of all his savings. And his intention tonight is to make money, no matter what, because he thinks the casino is the only way he can fix his life. Whereas Man B, when he sees those $10,000, they're not even 1% of his savings. He's not there because he thinks the casino will change his life. He's just there to have fun. Because he feels like it. He has a full life and knows he has little to lose. So now, if I ask you, which of the 2 is going to be more nervous? What would you say? Think about it and tell me. It's clear that the only one who will be afraid that night is Man A. Well, we're not talking about casinos or money, we're talking about women, and it's the same. She's not the solution. The first step is to understand that no woman will change or fix your life, and no woman is indispensable for you to be happy. Because just like man A, if 70, 80, 90, 100% of your happiness depends on a woman's reaction or on having a woman in your life, I have to tell you that you're in for a very tough life ahead. Because it's something that doesn't depend on you. What I'm telling you is to stop putting her on a pedestal. You need to meet more women, have abundance, and have other things in your life. Look, listen to this because it's going to change the way you think. Law of congruence. If you see a woman you're attracted to and you want to get to know her, your instinct is telling you to do it. Your goal isn't to conquer her because that doesn't depend on you. Your only goal is to do what your instinct tells you and what you want to do. Her rejecting you is secondary. It's something that doesn't depend on you. What does depend on you is taking action when you want to do something that you know you really want to do, something your instinct is telling you to do. Remember this, tattoo it on yourself. Your goal isn't to conquer her, your goal is to be congruent with the man you want to be. A man of action. So if you want to meet that girl or talk to her, just starting the conversation is already a success. It's a step that takes you out of your comfort zone, makes you a more sociable person, and brings you closer to the man you want to be. What happens from there, whether that girl ends up in a relationship with you or rejects you, is a bonus. Don't worry about what you can't control. Focus on what you can control, what depends on you. Focus on taking action. Your brain is your enemy. Yes, as you heard, because it was configured to survive in prehistory. The problem is that it hasn't been updated since then. In the past, there were very few available women because many of them were already taken by other members of the tribe. People lived in small groups, not like today's cities where there are plenty of women. So when you saw an attractive woman who could potentially be your partner, your brain sent you a signal. Besides noticing her, you felt a certain anxiety. That's because with few available women, that signal wanted you to be careful not to mess it up. There were few women, so you had to get her. But today the reality is different. We don't live in tribes. We don't live in small groups. We live in towns, cities, etc. Therefore, that nervousness, apart from you being a little simp, is memories from your past that no longer serve any purpose. In other words, if a woman rejects you today, there are 8,000 more women. And since your brain won't update, that fear will never go away. You'll always feel it. Don't expect it to go away because it never will. The only way to overcome it, to make it smaller, is to take action. To act despite feeling that fear. Counteract it with the techniques I've explained before so that you don't put her on a pedestal, and know that apart from her, there's a whole world out there for you. The 5-second rule. If you still find it hard to take action, use the 5-second rule technique. When you're not sure whether to act or not, count from 5 to 0, which activates a logical pattern that cuts your connection with your feelings for a brief, short time, and start the conversation when you reach 0 without thinking. And that's it, my friend. Don't worry. It's not that important if a woman rejects you. Live your life, do what you want, love yourself, and above all, take action.